Welcome to one of my Runeterra highlight videos. I highlight a different deck almost every single day of the week. If you enjoy the content, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. Enjoy. Alright, Trundle Bundle, or Harrowing Trundle. This deck is based around the fact that Trundle's ability to create an ice pillar in hand is not a play effect, but is simply a summon effect. This means in addition to when we play him, we also get extra ice pillars generated when we put him into play with things like Harrowing. We bring him back with things like Rekindler or Chronicler of Rune. Trundle's leveled mode gives us a pseudo combo kill in this deck. So his leveled mode has Overwhelm, so he deals excess damage to their Nexus past their blockers. And on attack, he gets +1 attack permanently for each 8+ cost card that's in your hand or in play. So the basic idea of this deck is we want to get Trundles into play, and then we want them to die to things like Chronicler, or just in combat, we bring them back with things like Rekindler. And then our other namesake card, the Harrowing here, revives our 6 strongest allies that have died this game with Ephemeral. So if you've had 3, 4, or 5 Harrowings happen, you bring a bunch of Trundles into play. All of those Trundles create ice pillars in your hand, and then they all attack for like 9, 10, 11 damage each, which is usually lethal with their Overwhelm even through blockers. The rest of this deck is a pretty typical Shadow Isles Freljord control deck. One thing to note that differentiates this from like the Feel the Rush control decks right now is that as opposed to playing sweepers like Warping Whale and Avalanche, our deck's anti-aggro plan is playing out lots of units, so that way we can have lots of things that play to the board to help us level Thresh as we go. So Thresh is another way we can get multiple Trundles into play when he levels up. I'm going to ask about deck codes. You can always find the deck code by typing !deck in chat if you're on Twitch. It'll also be linked in the video description on the YouTube channel if you're watching this in the future. It'll also be available on the overlay on Twitch momentarily when we pop into a match with it. Wanted to say I've been enjoying your commentary you've been playing. You've discussed cool topics, informative first time here. We'll have to stop by more often. Thanks for joining us, gaming. Hope you're staying safe out there in the world. So always try to stay pretty organized here. You can also see, talking about decks that we play from viewer submissions, there is a deck queue on my website, so you can always see which decks are going to be coming up in the future. Opponent playing Shen Fiora. So Shen Fiora tends to be an aggressive deck as opposed to a primarily all-in Fiora deck. I actually think this hand's pretty good here. Ruination's a little bit slow to start, but Aristocrat and Vilephish hopefully buy us time to get there for this to be relevant in this game. While this costs 9 mana, remember, since it's a spell, we can bank up to 3 mana for it, so we only need to survive till turn 6 to be able to play this.
I must get out of here.
Yeah, I finally took 30 seconds to create a second scene where my face is bigger. Where my face is bigger during the deck techs. It also, in addition to making my face larger, it also moves my couple of overlay elements, the chat and my second ad banner, to the other side of the screen so they don't cover any of the deck list while I'm scrolling up and down. No.
Strength and grace, beauty in the blade.
I'm just gonna bank spell mana here. So Fiora has Challenger, so she can force things to block her. And then she's levels when she's killed 2 enemy units. I'm gonna go ahead and Glimpse here in response, so she doesn't get to kill this. We'll see if they have a single combat here they want to spend, denying me my card draw. They do not. Another Glimpse is a stellar pickup. So we have some Harrowings, but at this point it's a little bit awkward that we don't have any Trundles yet. So like Trundle's easily our best draw next turn. Want to get Trundles dying so that way we can get Harrowing going. My opponent didn't deploy anything else to the board, which is interesting. Get a Chronicler here. If my opponent doesn't go wide, I don't really want to Ruinate. So like, while ideally I'd be doing this to a Trundle, we don't have one in sight at the moment. I think this is fine. You can also go ahead and attack and pressure them a little bit with this, encouraging them to develop their board more. Like, I don't mind if my things die, so like me developing my board more to make it so my opponent needs to expand more before they can attack is ideal. So like here's turn 6 and I have the spell mana save. Hopefully my opponent deploys more. They do not. Curse you, opponent, playing good Runeterra. I think we put this here and then we go ahead and glimpse our spider friend here again. Thresh is a little bit late to the party, but still not a terrible pickup here. I think we start by just deploying him. I guess if I do this now, I have an extra mana next turn. We have like a threat plus a rally. I could get into trouble with that play. No rally. It's good for us. Do I just Ruinate now? The problem with Ruinating now is my opponent will get to redeploy and then have decent open attacks. Don't play Thresh out. I've got triple Rekindler in my hand, so like if they kill Thresh, it's like not that big of a deal because I can bring him back. The question is, when I attack, do I want to play around a riposte out of them? Probably. And I think I'm going to go ahead and just continue to go wide here. Me going wide kind of makes kind of telegraphs less that I have a Ruination, and like with these Harrowings and Rekindlers, like the Ruination's not a big deal if it kills a bunch of my stuff. Yeah, and this feels like a let this happen, untap or Ruinate, untap play stuff.
An end to your cruelty.
I'm gonna glimpse to start here and see what they do. See if I can get them to deploy more to the board. They could have a deny. That's true.
We swim within the flows of magic.
We dived, then found home.
Undo Demacia nerfs? I don't know. War Chefs could probably have a second point of power back. I think removing the second point of power from the scout unit was good though. Why did we riposte proactively? Did we have rally? Single combat. Sure, so we'll do this in response. And then, unfortunately, I think it's pretty likely my opponent opens on attacks here. If they don't open on attacks, we get to summon another Thresh.
You're in over your head. Form will the waters take?
Omen Hawk to start and see what they do.
Return to us.
A gift from the river folk.
Thresh is like the plague that won't stay away, chat. He is determined. He is determined to be here. That's a good one. Judgment's scary, yeah.
What form will the waters take?
I think its Field of Rush matchup is okay. You have Ruination to keep up with them a little bit, and then Harrowing basically combo kills them. Dead Thresh count, a lot. It's a shame these Threshes aren't Trundles, because like if these Threshes were Trundles, we would like be able to Harrowing and kill them.
I've got your back.
Nothing escapes my watch.
Protect and strike. My steel is yours.
Ready the torches.
Yeah, similar, Oi. Very similar energy.
We each died, then found home.
That's a good emote. I haven't seen that one before.
These are troll
I think I just end the round, right?
My shield is yours.
It's always cold in the throne.
We're so deep, yep.
To the king.
It's been a weird game. Goodbye, friends. That'll do, pig. That'll do. I think the answer is it should have been modal. That seems fine. I'm supposed to mulligan looking for Trundle. Modal means a card does multiple things. So it does has more than one option, so that way if it has a narrow mode, like for example what it does now, it also does something else when its narrow mode isn't useful. Yeah, choose one. Great way to put it. So opponent playing a different variation of Field Rush. I assume this build is designed to try and win the mirror by playing Ionia cards. By playing Deny.
This one's on the house.
I'm gonna pass for now.
What delightful agony we shall inflict.
That's fine.
How about another round? You cannot win.
So on AK, yeah, running a little bit normal later than I normally play into today. Afternoon. I think the opponent's archetype, we played against the opponent's archetype a few times. Like I said, it's very similar to the previous opponent's deck that we played against. It's just playing cards that are good in the mirror instead of cards that respect aggro. It's a very metagame choice.
Witness my masterpiece.
Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to ramp there. Let's open attacks here in case they have a sweeper or a field rush. Yeah, I think that's reasonable first pick. What's it called? The palm card's really good too that they played, right? The concussive palm. No, Avalanche, the card.
Happen again.
It could be right to kill my own thing there and guarantee the thresh level.
Follow my blade.
We're gonna get denied here, aren't we? Although I guess if I get a deny on this, it's not a deny on my harrowing later, so like...
The trolls are going to war. You're in troll lands now. One troll to rule them all.
And if I do this to kill the spider, I'll get my Trundle out of my deck, right? Because I'll have room at the end of combat.
War! Get ready for a beatdown.
Worth hooking the pillar at the 1/1. Yeah, I guess that's free. Or hooking it with the 3/3. Just put some damage on it. And so Precipic, you said this matchup's probably bad for us. That game is a good example of why I think it's probably not too terrible. Like, this deck isn't all in on harrowing, right? Like, the Thresh plan is real because of all of our little piddly poopers. And you, like, get multiple Trundles going just through Thresh a lot of the time. And Rekindler as well. The fact that Thresh and Rekindler don't care about Deny is a big deal. This deck on average lines up well into the Freljord Shadow Isles control deck that's very popular right now with Feel the Rush, because you have things like Ruination and Vengeance as well as a combo kill of your own with Harrowing. Thresh could really help you control the board, and your cheap units apply pressure nicely, which is great.